Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Barbera, autism mom and board certified behavior analyst. Whenever a child has problem behaviors, it is most likely due to the demands being too high or reinforcement being too low. And any problem behavior can be analyzed in the same way. So if we have a child who is falling to the ground and crying, we can look at that and we can say, okay, the demands are too hard and or reinforcement's too low. Or if we have a child with higher language skills arguing, we can say, okay, the demands are probably too high and or reinforcement is too low. But in either situation, the key here to turning things around is through pairing. And when I say pairing, I mean pairing ourselves, the work environment, the table time, the materials, the room, pairing the task at hand with reinforcement. And very few people really know as much as they need to about pairing and how to implement that. So if you go into a child's house and that child is not talking, has very few skills, it's kind of easier, I think, to see about how you could pair. So you could blow bubbles, for instance, and pair the word bubbles with blowing the bubbles, and you might tickle the child, and the child's young and hopefully is getting you're at least getting some smiles and some reaching for the bubbles and popping the bubbles, and so that kind of feels more natural to people to pair with younger children, at least for limited play opportunities. But if you have an older child who is speaking in, little phrases or even in full sentences, and they are having problem behaviors, you can't use the same techniques, but you definitely have to know how to pair yourself with reinforcement. In this situation, say you have an 8-year-old who loves to play with Legos, but he loves to play them alone. And you're going in for the first time and you're thinking, how can I pair myself with these Legos to make it more fun, because he's used to playing them by yourself. So I'd say with higher language kids, it's really important not to go in and bombard them with questions. Instead, sit back, watch them play with Legos, and interject only occasionally. So you can interject not with questions, but hey, I like that spaceship you just built. That is awesome. You could wait another minute or two and make another comment and see if the child is beginning to warm up to you. Another important thing when we talk about pairing with any child is that there cannot be a pairing period and then an abrupt change to now we're doing work. The change to increasing the demands and lowering the reinforcement has to be so subtle, because if it's not, the child will go like, okay, they're fun for the first 5 minutes of the session, and then all of a sudden it becomes not fun. So we want to make sure that we're pairing throughout the session, throughout the day, throughout the activities, and that we're never going from an abrupt change in our behavior. Basically, we want the child to run to the door if you're providing therapy in the home, to run to the station within your classroom to do work with you, to run to get a bath or to put their shoes on. And if they're not running to the task, or at least walking there without any problem behavior, then I think you need to go back to the drawing board and look at ways you can increase the reinforcement and maybe make the demand a little bit easier. So hopefully you got a little bit more information about pairing. Chapter 4 of my book is all about pairing. And if you also want to have a sneak peek at my online courses, which I talk a lot about pairing in, you can go to the link right below this video to watch a 4-part free video workshop and get a sneak peek at the procedures I use within my online courses. Thanks a lot. Happy pairing this week, and I'll see you next time.